Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Be Creative. And as we've been doing all September in through October, we are interviewing folks on Tuesdays, specifically folks in the Latino community who've been working in the arts to celebrate National Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month. And so today, I'm very excited. We have LBC's own José Soto, our music specialist. José, thank you so much for being willing to talk with me about what you do.
Thank you very much. I've been enjoying all the interviews that you've been doing, and I'm very happy to do one, with you.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's start off by just talking about what do you do? What is your music specialist? What does that mean for you?
Yeah. So my title is the music specialist, which goes down or up, whatever you want to say, all the way to say I'm the music and the mariachi instructor there. A few years, LBC and I we decided to go out into the community and start looking for students who wanted to learn how to play mariachi music. I've been doing mariachi music since I was a kid. My father plays mariachi music, and we launched this program and said during the summer, let's go and look for kids who want to play music. And yeah, we've been very successful. A lot of kids wanted to do it, and at the time, I was a student at the Jays. I was a high school student when we first started this. Then that pushed me to say, oh, maybe I should do more. Maybe I can go and continue my education doing music. And that's exactly what I did. As soon as I graduated from high school, I went to the EAC, San Jose Junior College. And then uh, we got more kids the next year, and I was, oh, maybe this is an opportunity for me to go to the next step. How about I go to a university, which was never in my plans. I came to this country when I was 15 years old. I didn't speak English, so even my mom and dad, they said, if you finish high school, that's it. Congratulations, we will be feel very proud of you. But this kept going and kept leading me to I would say, to the right track in my life. And yeah, so I am the music specialist at the Luther Burbank Center that focus right now in the mariachi program. We barely start a program with the parents, whoever wants to learn how to play guitar, out in the community. So that's something that we launched actually during COVID, and it's been, very successful. We're gonna start very soon, next week, actually, with the new program. We're continuing that, and I'm very excited. So that's my title and that's my role.
Yeah, and you actually even answered a little bit of my other question, which is about how you got here. And so you talked about playing mariachi music as a kid, and then continuing on and becoming a teacher and going into college. So I'd love to ask, maybe kind of you played mariachi when you were younger. What made you kind of think that you wanted to turn that into a teaching?
Well, it was actually, I always loved music. I started at a really young age, just like you said, and I always just loved music. And in the back of my head, a lot of people, a lot of my influence were like, oh, wonderful, Jose, you do music, this is beautiful. In the other hand, I had a lot of people that, yeah, what are you gonna do for a living? They didn't think, like I had that weird scenario where some people felt like this is so lovely, other people feel like, oh, he's not gonna make it doing art. But like I said, I think my teachers believe in me more than what I believe in myself. At the time that I was in high school, it was all about my teachers. Like I told you before, it was my parents were happy if I complete high school, and then my teachers were like, "Hey, come on, you should go to college. You can do music. You can do mariachi music. You can." I was like, do they have mariachi? No, well, they don't have mariachi, but you can go and study, music in a different track. Maybe it'll be classical, maybe it'll be jazz, but I'm sure the fundamentals will be the same. And that's exactly what I did. And honestly, it was the experience I had with LBC. And my goal was to go and play at a professional mariachi. And I will say that I had that opportunity at some point once I was in school and all of that. I said, okay, now I can go to play in a professional mariachi. But my heart was stolen already from teaching kids and all of that. And I was just like, oh, what do I do? So very lucky that I get to do what I do.
Yeah. So you talked even about how when you were going to study this, they said, well, we don't have a mariachi program, but we have a music program. So I'd love to hear for you with your focus on mariachi, what is it about mariachi music that you love so much that's different from teaching just general music that just is your something that really draws you to that and to bringing that program to Sonoma?
Yeah, well, the mariachi play a very important role. When I came to school, I start feeling like, okay, I can do music and I can read music. And at the beginning, it was a challenge, because of the language for me. But then I got to the point where I was doing music like everybody else. However, some people kept saying, instead of saying good job, I always got like good job, Jose, or whatever. But they were like, how about mariachi? I said like, what about mariachi? That's like, I'm so like 100% Mexican, 100% mariachi guy. But I feel like, what about it? Aren't we doing classical music? Yeah, but we have to do the connection. So it was at the time that we started doing the camps and LBC taking. LBC, it was a huge organization for me. It still is, and I was very impressed by everything that we do. And for me to come and say, how about we do mariachi, and for them to say, okay, let's make a plan and let's see if people are interested about this. It was huge. The more connection between that we found with the community, I don't think it's more powerful than any other style of music. I think classical, jazz, you name it, mariachi. It's just that we are serving a different population, a population that has been exposed to this kind of music, and I feel with lots of respect I do it and very proud of what I do. And I'm glad that my teachers were supposed to say, you know what, learn as much as you can, and a lot of technique, learn classical music, but your heart it's into this style of music, and there's nothing wrong of doing that. Because I also come from a place where a lot of people, it's hard to believe, like we see other styles. A lot of the times we pretend or we tend to see one style as bigger than the other, and that is no longer for me. I have a different understand. I know that music is a way to connect with people. I know that music helps people see things in a different way, helps families and the kids I have at least to express themselves in a way that they feel comfortable. So I'm just very happy that I get to do mariachi, and I'm very happy to do it at this place. The LBC that didn't know where they were going with this, but said, I'm willing to take the challenge. I'm willing to try it. And I think we have a successful program.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. I really like talking about how every style of music brings something unique to the table, and I really like you saying this was where my heart was, and for some of the students, this is music that they've been exposed to or their parents have been exposed to, and so they kind of there's that recognition there, which if there aren't a lot of mariachi programs around, they might not get a lot of chances to do something like that. So that's super cool. I'd love to know what were some of the skills that you had to work on most to be able to get to this point, either as a teacher or as a performer, either one that you think would be interesting to talk about. What were the skills you had to work on the most that were toughest for you?
Well, and, for me, my first one was the English, the
Mm,
language, at all time. Like getting to the level in order for me to be in the classes and try and do what I love. Second one, I think music helped me complete my career because it's one of those careers that even if you can talk, if you can play, they will admit it in the orchestra. So that happened to me, and I still had to work a lot. Like my reading skills for music were not the best, and it was because in mariachi most of the time we play by ear or we have our set and it's done. And when I got to the orchestra, it was difficult for me to see a piece of 10 pages now, and I was used to see one page and all of that. The technique for the violin, I had a different approach, and I had to relearn a lot of things, and a lot of things just adjusted in a different way. I mean, work for mariachi didn't work for the orchestra, and some of the things that I learned from there which I don't work in mariachi, but really mixing those two and becoming uh, the best at it. And yeah, the challenge of keep learning or what do I do? Like I wanted to do something like this program that we have at the LBC, and that was a challenge because a lot of people have done it in other places, but not too many to the point where you can say, okay, we're just this is the way you do it. It was a lot of exploring. It was a lot of this is new for us. This is new for an organization. This is new for teachers. So I was in that scenario, which made it a little bit more difficult, but also very fun. Because it was a lot of discovering new things for me and for the organization, something that I also like and I think was difficult. It's the well, all of that. Just the fact that it was very very difficult because we didn't have a lot of reference. I got to the point where it was just like, okay, Jose, sometimes, let's put it this way: when I was a kid or something, I said, I don't have it. I'm so afraid. How am I gonna get there? I got to the point where, okay, Jose, just do it. You have it now. You have the money. You have the here's the time. We're gonna do something. Here are the resources. But now, how do you do it? Like, okay, I have to go and find the curriculum and kind of create our own curriculum. That was such a challenge, but I feel I got a lot of support. And with that, I will say I always, when I went to school, I said, we have this mariachi camp, we have this mariachi program, but I'm preparing myself to become a music teacher at a high school or at a middle school. And then I got to the point where as soon as I graduated, LBC, offered me a job. And now I see things in a different way. I get to work with people like you and many others, that it just, I feel like LBC takes the arts to a different dimension, to a different place. What I mean by that is just I'm no longer. I know I'm the music specialist. I know I'm the music teacher. That's my job there. But I'm exposed to so many other things, to so many other residencies that I've been learning so much, that to a lot of the school shows and things like that. And that not only, changed the way I look at the arts, it just make me a better teacher. Every day I learn something new. So instead of being difficult, I will say it's difficult, but if you are at the right place, it becomes this uh, comfortable place for you to learn. With that, I'm not saying that everything is easy or everything, but it just, I feel happy doing what I do.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear just real quickly what is maybe your favorite. I mean, I know you love what you do, so narrowing it down to a favorite is tough. But what are some of your favorite things that you get to do as part of this, where you're like, oh, this happens, and I'm just like, this is why I'm here. This is why I love what I do.
Yeah, well, summer camp, it's the best. I will say that's the thing. Getting a kid who has never played an instrument ever in their life, and they have an instrument, and after 3 weeks, I mean, they're not experts, but they go and they challenge themselves, and they get to do something that even they couldn't believe at the beginning of the camp. They won't believe that they are going to be playing, and that's the first thing that makes me so happy. And just teaching during the entire year and working on a piece and having the kids go and perform for the community, it's great. You have no idea how many times I thought, okay, they're gonna be done, they're not gonna want to do music during the pandemic, they're not gonna be back to their classes and all that. I'm just thinking, why was I thinking that? I guess it's normal, but we have 91 kids that are in our after school program right now, and it's just, I guess they feel comfortable. It's not easy, and I don't consider myself that I'm an easy teacher. I push them so hard, which could be a good thing, could be a not so good, but I think at the end, once they go and play out in the community, they feel like it's worth it.
Yeah. Okay. So to close things out, you talked about our after school programs. We have students who are learning mariachi right now. The way to get into those programs is through our summer camps. So right now, any students who are interested are going to have to wait until next summer. But if they were watching this and thought this sounds really cool, I would love to learn more about mariachi, whether to maybe teach it myself someday in the future or to play it. What is something that they could do in the next before summer camp comes around again to maybe work on some of these skills to maybe be to move a step forward in knowing more about this before they actually get a chance to play something?
Yeah. Well, LBC, it's, the mariachi program, it's just one program, but be checking our website because we have events like Fiesta de Independencia where you can get just inspired just by watching these kids do music. And if you are a parent, you're going to want your kid to do that. If you're a kid, you're going to be like, oh my God, I could be that kid. Yes, then we have Posada Navideña, and we have a lot of events that through these events, do that throughout the year until you gets that time where we say now is the time to apply for summer camp because that's the ticket. Once you do one of our summer camps, you can join one of our mariachi and year-long program. And of course, for the parents, I just told you at the beginning that we're doing a guitar challenge. So if you believe that you cannot play the guitar, I don't think you're right. I think you can. Everybody can. And we know that it's difficult when you have kids. We know you have a job and all of that. But this is that the classes is designed with those intentions that you become successful, even if you have to work and you have 10 kids or you don't think you're going to get inspired. You will learn something. So I invite you to please go to our website and you're going to learn more about all the things we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all this with us, Jose. I know that this will be really interesting information for the students watching. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right, folks, that's it for this week. Don't forget to come back next Tuesday at 3:30 for our final episode in this particular interview series. And then we'll be back to our regular Let's Be Creative educational video series after that. So we will see you next week.